I'm Breakup Brad, and I've been a breakup coach for 15 years now. And of course, in all of those years helping my coaching clients get a second chance with their ex, I've really seen it all. And one of the things that I've learned is that people react to breakups in all different ways. Some get depressed and withdraw, obviously, while others turn to anger and lash out or try to get revenge. But by far, one of the most common ways in which people deal with a breakup is by pretending to move on, by trying to put on a happy face, act like they're emotionally unaffected, and showing the world, how quickly they're able to get over their ex. Now, sure, some people can and do actually get over an ex practically overnight, but that's very rare. And most of the time, it's all a big act, a facade to hide their true emotions. So if your ex seems to have moved on from you in your breakup almost instantly, if they're acting like your relationship meant nothing to them or giving off very cold vibes as though they couldn't care less about you, it's likely they're just pretending in order to save face. Beneath the surface, they're struggling with everything. And they have to do everything they can to stop themselves from just picking up the phone and begging for you to take them back. So let's look at the top 9 signs that indicate your ex isn't actually moving on, but rather they're just pretending to be over you. Sign number 1, your ex has blocked you. Now, I know this might surprise you, but if your ex has blocked you very soon after the breakup, especially if it happens before you've really made any real attempts to reach out and try to get them to take you back, it almost certainly means they are not over you and they are not confident that they'll be able to commit to the breakup. I mean, think about it. If you dump someone, you're going to have reasons for your decision to end things. They might be sound reasons, and you might really believe that a breakup is the best way forward. But you probably also still love your ex and find it hard to stomach the thought of life without them. So by blocking your ex after breaking up, you're really preventing yourself from being reminded of them every time you log onto social media. You're ensuring that you don't break down in a moment of weakness and send your ex a text or a message on Instagram or whatever. And you're just adding one more step to take in order to reach out. Now, this is not the kind of thing that somebody would bother doing if they were truly 100% confident in the breakup. They wouldn't care about seeing your name pop up on their social media feed or worry that they'll be unable to help themselves from sending you a late night text message when they're lonely and missing you like crazy. So, in short, if the breakup is pretty fresh and your ex blocks you, it's a very strong indication that they're actually not over you. In sign number 2, your ex is already back on dating apps. Now, a lot of my clients, and especially the ladies, although it does affect men too, are horrified to discover that their ex is back on dating apps just a short time after breaking up. They think, wow, my ex is already over me. The minute they see or hear that their ex is already back on the dating market again. But in the vast majority of cases, the opposite is actually true. Your ex isn't over you because they're starting to date again. They're starting to date again because they're not over you, and they're trying to distract themselves from the heartache by finding a rebound or a hookup. It could just be because they're lonely or want sex, or it could be a subconscious way to seek validation and rebuild their self-esteem. Either way, don't panic if you hear your ex is already on Tinder or Bumble or whatever, because it usually means they're just looking for a rebound or a distraction to keep their mind off you and your breakup. And sign number 3 is it's been less than a month since your breakup. Now, I probably should have put this one at the top of the list because it's arguably the single biggest indication that your ex isn't over you. But if your breakup happened, very recently, as in within the past few weeks, then it's very, very likely that your ex is absolutely not over you. Sure, in my experience, there are situations where an ex can get over somebody in a matter of days, but that's both extremely rare and almost always due to other circumstances such as cheating or a very toxic relationship in the first place. So be very, very skeptical if your ex appears to be over you and moving on after just a couple of weeks. Even casual relationships take longer than a week or two for most people to get over. So the less time has passed since your breakup, the less likely it is that your ex is actually over you. Now, if you haven't already done so, please take a few minutes right now and complete my free quiz at breakupbrad.com/quiz to find out exactly what your chances are of ever getting your ex to take you back. Because you might think, from what we've discussed in the video so far, that your ex actually is over you, when in fact, that's maybe not the case at all. So my quiz is designed to answer exactly that question and will give you a score out of 100, breaking down your chances. All you need is 5 minutes and it's completely free. So go to breakupbrad.com/quiz and find out if you've still got a chance. Now, moving on to sign number 4, your ex continues to reach out to you for any reason. Now, really, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that the more your ex is contacting you, the more likely it is they still have feelings for you and can't fully let go. But what a lot of people don't realize is that basically any kind of contact from your ex, regardless of the reason, is a clear sign they haven't moved on. So that includes anytime your ex might try to start an argument or bring up old drama, or if they seem to, ask you mundane questions or seemingly pointless questions, like asking things that they could easily find the answer to elsewhere. It also includes asking things like, can I stop by your house to pick up my toothbrush, that, hardly seem urgent. They're probably just looking for an excuse to talk to you or hear from you. And that's, of course, a good sign for your chances. The more they're contacting you, even if it's just, to get defensive or say something hurtful, the more obvious it is that they're not over you. And sign number 5 is when your ex takes a long time to respond to you. Now, this is the classic advice given to people trying to show their ex that they're over it. I would know because I've told many of my clients the exact same thing. Obviously, if you're trying to give people the indication that you're over somebody, responding to their messages in a matter of seconds is not going to be very convincing. But, this can be hard to tell apart from genuine disinterest. So to spot the difference, look for a couple of things. First, they'll leave you on red for way too long, to the point where it seems like they aren't even going to respond at all. And then they'll get back to you like nothing happened. And this is clearly an attempt to send a message, and it can come across as downright rude. And secondly, they'll wait roughly the same amount of time to reply to all of your messages. And that means that they've probably set rules for themselves for how long they're going to wait before they respond to a message. I've even known people who would actually set a timer for 30 minutes before replying. And this is obviously a sign that they're not over you at all, but they're just trying to make it look that way. Sign number 6 is, your ex is hanging around mutual friends or asking them about you. Now, in my experience, this one is less common, but I do see it from time to time. Your ex may try a little too hard to stay in touch with your friends after the breakup, or spend more time than normal with mutual friends that you both share. Or you might even, just hear through the grapevine that your ex has been asking them about you. Either way, this shows obviously that your ex is clinging to that remaining connection between the two of you, almost like a lifeline they're not ready to let go of. And in the case where you learn that they've been asking mutual friends about you, well, obviously this could be a good sign too. So make sure you actually focus on improving your own life after the breakup, and don't just sit around feeling sorry for yourself so that those, mutual friends actually have something interesting and impressive to share about you when your ex asks. And sign number 7, your ex continues to flirt with you and or drop sexual hints. Now, I don't know how much explanation this one really needs. It goes without saying that, anytime your ex is flirting with you or teasing you with sexual innuendos or hinting at your intimate past, they're obviously still thinking about you, longing for the physical connection that you shared, and probably only pretending to have moved on. Now, there are some cases where your ex might just be stringing you along, even though they don't actually have much interest in getting back together. But in my experience, you can be pretty confident that the more your ex is flirting, the more likely it is they're still invested in you and might still be open to the idea of taking you back. Now, this sign is a lot more important if your ex is also exhibiting a number of the other indicators that we've covered already. Sign number 8, it seems like they're acting too happy or too positive. So if your ex is doing this, it's usually going to be pretty obvious. If they're putting on an act to show the world, how happy they are despite the breakup, and their positivity and upbeat manner just feels wrong or feels out of character, especially given that they've just been through what was presumably a pretty traumatic and life-changing breakup, well, you have good reason to be highly suspicious. This one is, it's more about trusting your own intuition, but it is actually one of the biggest indicators in my experience. Presumably, your ex better than almost anyone else, so you're obviously in a good position to spot that kind of unusual behavior or, fake positivity and happiness. Maybe your ex is just posting all kinds of upbeat photos on social media, bragging about the fun they've been having or new friends they've made recently. You'll know if it looks and feels fake. And most of the time, you should trust your instincts, because they're probably just trying a bit too hard to put on a happy facade and mask their actual heartache and loneliness. Now, if you want to talk it over with me in more depth, tell me about how your ex is asking and acting and what you think it might mean, well, I'd love to chat with you and work out a plan to ensure you get your ex to come back to you before it's too late. Go to breakupbrad.com/coaching and sign up for my very affordable one-on-one coaching program so we can start working together today, and I'll learn all about your situation and give you my opinion. And finally, sign number 9, they never really seem to have any real reason for the breakup. So this one is a little bit less about how your ex is acting since the breakup and more about, the circumstances surrounding the breakup itself. So look at the justifications that your ex used when explaining the breakup. Even if it was a mutual end to the relationship, or you dumped them and now you've changed your mind, but they're unwilling to take you back. Well, most people have some perceived logical or rational reason to explain to themselves why breaking up was necessary. If they didn't seem to have any real reason, and your relationship was otherwise healthy and loving and didn't show obvious signs of collapse leading up to the breakup, then you should ask yourself whether they're just being stubborn and trying to convince themselves that they made the right choice by acting the part and pretending that the breakup was a good idea and that they have no regrets. Of course, there are many situations where your ex might simply not want to share the truth with you. Like, for example, they found somebody new and they don't want to hurt you by telling you that. So do be careful reading too much into this. But in my experience, there are some people who simply act like they've moved on for a breakup just to try and make themselves believe that it was the right path forward and avoid the stigma or embarrassment of changing their mind and getting back together. This is obviously, again, a much stronger indicator when it comes along with several of the other signs that we've already discussed. So if you've seen your ex exhibit several of the 9 signs we just covered, then in my experience, there's a good chance that they are in fact simply pretending to be over you. And they probably either haven't fully committed to a permanent breakup or, they're struggling to adapt to life without you. And they might be willing to change their mind and take you back. Now, the most important thing is that you do not overreact and start spamming your ex and begging them to come back to you. Just because they're not fully confident in the breakup doesn't mean you can just, show up at their house with flowers and expect them to take you back. You still need to take it slow, make them miss you as much as possible by giving them time and space with a period of no contact, and focus on rebuilding natural, organic attraction rather than trying to talk your way back into their heart. Start by taking my free quiz at breakupbrad.com/quiz right now to get a personalized assessment of your chances, along with a list of recommended next steps based on the details of your current situation. Then, if you need more help or guidance, sign up for my one-on-one coaching program, and let's work out a plan together before you do anything that might unknowingly hurt your chances. I've linked to both my coaching sign-up page and my free quiz in the description below. I hope you found this video at least somewhat helpful, and hopefully you leave feeling a little bit more optimistic. I've made a lot more advice videos in the past that you can watch next, and I'll link to a few of the best in the description below. I also put out videos like this one every week, so please click subscribe to make sure you don't miss the next one. I truly, sincerely appreciate your support and all of your likes and comments, so please don't be shy. And I'll see you next time.